Well, hey, so you played for Hall of Fame coach Larry Brown and worked for Hall of Fame coach and Coach Self. What are some of the things that you've taken from them and put into your own philosophy, whether it's
Well,
any morals, defensively, offensively, what anything that you've put into your everyday now philosophy.
absolutely, Jeff. Those, Coach Brown, Coach Self, and my father um, have the biggest impact and influence on me as what I wanted to do with a program as a coach. And Coach Brown made me a better person. He made me a better basketball player, and that's something that I try to instill when I coach, whatever level, whether it's my kids' itty bitty teams like you've done in the past, or it's a college team. Those are things that you want to do day in and day out. And one of the things I learned from Coach Self was the amount of time that he invests in his players and building relationships and understanding who they are as people. Because Coach Brown, Coach Self, those guys challenge you day in and day out to be the best that you can be. And the one thing that I noticed about Coach Self is he makes deposits in that relationship bank.
Yeah.
He makes them over and over again, and sometimes you don't see all of them because he doesn't share those with everybody. But there's always some type of communication or deposit going into that bank because he's going to make his withdrawals. And
Yeah.
he's going to take those withdrawals out during practice when he's challenging you to be the best that you can be or challenging you to be better than what you were the possession before. And
Yep.
so that's something that I definitely take away from Coach Self and his mentality. Also, just you go back and you think about when you were playing. We had a really good team, and at the time we were running two game, which is Coach Self's
Yeah.
world claimed high-low offense. And then we go through some injuries, and then we become a ball screen team on the fly.
Yeah.
And it was just like, you sit back and you think about that now, and you see where the game of basketball has evolved.
Yeah.
And where we were doing things when you were playing ball screen wise and dribble handoff wise, and now it's commonplace
Yeah.
10, 15 years after the fact. And so just the mind that Coach Self has in his vision is something that I'm extremely impressed with.
It's funny you talk about Coach Self's his mind of the game because like I knew this guy was like just a kind of a freak of nature, just coach mind wise when like he would be able to break down like plays, 4 and 5 plays in practice. Like, no, 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 no. You were here. You just, I'm like, dang, man, how did he catch that? Some coaches, you
Yes.
get by like, yeah, he ain't gonna remember that.
Yeah.
Coach
Yeah.
Self was like, yeah, yeah. And that 6 possession back, you were here, 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 here. That was your mistake because you should have came off the screen. You like, ah, oh, dang, man, you can't get
Yes.
mind.
Yes. Yeah, his mind is unbelievable. I mean, and for me, like when I think of Coach Self, it reminds me of Coach Brown, because Coach Brown was the same way. And those two guys and what they're able to recall, and a lot of times for me with Coach Brown, it was Coach, I don't know if I saw it that way, man. I don't, man, Coach, I don't know if I'm saying to myself, I don't know if you're right. And I'm looking at Coach like, man, I don't. And then all of a sudden, that's when he goes back 12 plays and goes, okay, you didn't do this play before. The play before that, you didn't do this. The play before that, you didn't do this. The play before that, and it's just like that's when you're one of those. All right, let me just be quiet and
Yeah, all right, I
try
got
to
the
get
point.
better. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, so you won a championship as a player and a championship as a coach at KU. Did it feel the same winning each, or what was the difference? I mean,
Difference in winning a championship as a player and a coach. As a player, you're much more naive into what goes into winning a championship. I mean, yeah, you go into the gym in the off season and, oh yeah, we want to win a championship. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to lift. I'm going to get my shots up. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. As a coach, you understand, wow, we got to get good matchups with who we're playing. We got to have a good scouting report. We got to lock into the scout report. We got to understand the scout report. We got to be healthy. Guys have to be available. And then we got to get some breaks along the way. And
yeah,
then so all those things go into it as a coach and more. But as a player, you just out there, we're going to ball. We're going to win the championship. And that's your thought process. And you believe at that point in time, that's all that's needed. But as a coach, you understand there's so many different things that go into it. And then that doesn't even take into account the chemistry of your team throughout the year and
Yeah.
guys wanting guys to be successful. And that's something that is, in this day of instant gratification that a lot of players have, that's hard to do.
Yeah.
You know, when we look